Because it really, here's the thing: you say you're depressed, you're not clinically depressed. You're sad. You say I'm so OCD. You're not OCD. You like a clean space. We're using clinical terms to describe things that are not clinical, and you do not have that particular disorder. You do not have that particular mental state. So why is it dangerous to use these terms for things that are arguably not are not applicable?
Because the people who do experience these symptoms do have obsessive compulsive disorder, actively are in the middle of a major depressive episode. People who are subject to narcissistic systems, having to deal with abusive situations with people who are narcissistic, the gaslighting, all of that stuff. It trivializes, I'm going to use that word, their experience. In that, if this is the broad definition of gaslighting because everybody's using it, then how do I really know I'm experiencing it? So now maybe I don't think I'm being gaslit. I'm like, well, maybe I'm over exaggerating, or maybe I'm overthinking it. Like, ma'am, you are being psychologically abused, and that has long-term ramifications. You know, people who get out of abusive relationships, therapy work, I'd argue, would have to be learning how to trust your own natural instinct. Like, you lose a sense of yourself because your perception or your reality or what you understand to be true about the world has been constantly scrutinized, criticized, and used against you. But then if everybody around you is saying gaslight, narcissism, et cetera, then you who may be inside of that system feel like, well, I guess this is more of the norm, or maybe this is more normal than I thought. So, like, should I really try to get help? Is this really no, yes, it is.
It seems like it's its own form of gaslighting. What I understand to be gaslighting, you taught me this and I saw it somewhere else. But one of the things that I remember learning about it is that if you are truly with somebody who is gaslighting you, in the process of gaslighting, one of the things that happens is that you start to doubt your own reality, right?
Yes.
So what I'm hearing from you is the trivialization of these terms, turning them into everyday things. I'm hearing it do two things. I'm hearing the words themselves get diluted, right?
That's a great word.
And then I'm also hearing you talk about those who are actually living with OCD or anxiety, or who are actually being gaslit, or who are actually depressed. I'm hearing you say, oh, well, now they're doubting
the severity of their illness and their experience.
And now you know what else I'm thinking as well. I'm thinking of the people who are who have lived around that kind of narrative, that kind of what's the word? Talking, the language, right? Where I'm not sad, I'm depressed. You know, I'm this, and I'm just so OCD, right? Because it's gotten so trivialized, so diluted. Then it makes the people who are not struggling with it, when they come across somebody who's struggling with it, they do not take it as seriously. So, for example, I've been open about my depression on here and in other forums, other places, whatever, right? I can go to somebody and be like, oh yeah, my name is Chris, I live with depression, this, that, and the other. And if they are a person who doesn't believe in depression because they think that depression just means sadness, and I'm talking about clinical depression, they are now not taking seriously my experience because they only see it as what society or what the culture is using the word to mean, right? So the word depression no longer means clinical depression, it means sadness. Anxiety doesn't mean anxiety, now it means I'm nervous, right? OCD doesn't mean OCD, it means clean. Bipolar doesn't mean bipolar, it means a little
fluctuations.
Yeah,
Mood
right?
swings.
So now I'm seeing how it affects so many different things, and not just, because in my head I was like, oh, weaponization, that means that it's going to hurt the people who struggle with it, right? But now I'm also thinking about how it's actually hurting them.